Hello and welcome to the first episode of World Today, where we'll bring you the inside story of international developments that unfold. This week, we'll focus on President Trump's visit to India and an analysis of India-US relations with Trump and Modi at the helm of affairs, which has had its share of ups and downs on strategic, defense, or for that matter, on the economic front. But first up, the headlines. First standalone visit to India by a US president, Donald Trump will land on February 25th with his family, First Lady Melania, daughter Ivanka, and son-in-law Jared Kushner. Ahead of Trump visit, India clears procurement of $2.6 billion worth 24 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters. No trade deal on this visit, but both sides hopeful to sign a big deal. India says, not in a rush. US President Donald Trump will inaugurate the world's largest cricket stadium when he arrives in Ahmedabad, in the home state of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on Monday at the start of a two-day visit. Agra gets a makeover for Trump visit, water released into Yamuna, and freshly painted city. US First Lady Melania Trump is expected to visit Delhi government school and see how the Kejriwal government has implemented happiness classes in public education. In today's transactional world, it is all about what the other can give, and therefore, India and the United States of America are stuck in the midst of one of the toughest trade negotiations to crack a deal. A trade deal that will not be signed even during this trip.
I was pleased to learn about an Indian Airlines recent order of 100 new American planes, one of the largest orders of its kind, which will support thousands and thousands of American jobs.
India's trade deficit in goods with the United States of America stood at $24.3 billion in the year 2016, the 10th largest that year. $23.3 billion is what it stands in 2019, the 11th largest. Rewind to June of 2017, when Prime Minister Modi and President Trump met for the first time at the White House. The United States president had made it very clear that he wanted India to buy from them to correct the imbalance of trade that is tilted in India's favor.
भारत के पास तीन प्रमुख ऐसी सुविधाएं हैं जो विश्व में किसी के पास नहीं है। डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड, डेमोक्रेसी एंड डिमांड। और इन तीनों बातों को देखें तो भारत में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब बनने की पूरी संभावना है।
But Modi had also come to power on a nationalistic agenda with the same vision of Make in India.
Make in India. अगर आज आपको ह्यूमन रिसोर्स चाहिए, आपको इफेक्टिव गवर्नेंस चाहिए, अगर आपको लो कॉस्ट प्रोडक्शन चाहिए, तो भारत से बड़ी कोई अवसर की जगह नहीं हो सकती भाइयों। आप आइए, भारत का भाग्य बदलने के लिए हम सबकी इच्छा है, आप उसके साथ जुड़िए।
So it is now a clash of America first versus India first. Which nation will be great again? It began with the tariff war, similar to the one US had with China, but at a smaller scale. The Trump administration began applying new tariffs in the year 2018 on steel and aluminium imports from dozens of countries, including India. New Delhi, in response, came up with its own retaliatory tariffs but didn't impose them. A frustrated Trump administration then withdrew Generalized System of Preferences, known as GSP program, for India, which allows equitable and reasonable access to a country's markets for the United States of America's goods and services. Trump's argument, India is not a developing nation. As a result, India imposed retaliatory tariffs on American goods, and now we are fighting it out at the WTO. While there was some conversation about reinstating GSP during his visit, it seems unlikely. Harley-Davidson's has been another issue of constant consternation for President Trump. With only 3,000 units sold a year, that too the cheaper models of the bikes, Trump insisted that the tariffs, which stood at 75%, be lowered. In 2018, Prime Minister Modi brought it down to 50%, but the US president continues to remain unhappy. Then comes the two big issues on account of which the trade deal is stuck: dairy products and medical devices. India is very clear that dairy products, if imported from US, will have to be derived from vegetarian cows, keeping the religious sentiments of the Indians in mind. If the cows are fed non-vegetarian diet, then the products would have to be marked. But the International Dairy Foods Association has not been budging on India's demand, calling it scientifically unwarranted. The other is medical devices. US has raised concerns over customs duties and price controls on medical equipments and devices such as coronary stents and knee implants, which has led to losses for the US companies. And finally, the new oil, data and digital economy. Frictions and fissures and ties have come about over data localization, data privacy and e-commerce. India uses many US platforms for digital operations, and this data collected in the US has become the gold mine that the two countries are now warring over. So while the president of the US might have a packed schedule from his first political rally abroad at Motera Stadium in Ahmedabad to the bilateral talks in New Delhi, all is not hunky-dory for the two besties. Earlier, we discussed trade issues between India and the United States of America, but trade aside, there is a lot of strategic substance attached to the visit. Let's take a look at what is at stake here.
After Howdy Modi at Houston, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to unleash the charm offensive for the US President Donald Trump and the US First Lady Melania Trump at the Sardar Patel Cricket Stadium, Motera in Gujarat during Trump's two-day visit to India starting February 24.
And you know, it's the largest stadium in the world. He's building it now. It's almost complete, and it's the largest in the world. And he's a friend of mine. He's a great gentleman, and I look forward to going to India. So we'll be going at the end of the month.
Trump and the US First Lady will also visit Mahatma Gandhi's Sabarmati Ashram and operate the Charkha. Along with the Prime Minister, the two are also expected to walk down the Sabarmati riverfront. During Trump's two-day visit to India, US and India are also expected to take forward dialogue on crucial defense hardware acquisition, including integrated air defense weapon system, 24 MH-60 Seahawk helicopters, and long-range maritime reconnaissance drones.
As far as the military field is concerned, we have a good military trade with them. There is no dearth. India continues to need equipment of new technology, both in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and all these fields.
The US has emerged as one of the biggest arms suppliers to India. The integrated air defense weapon system is expected to cost approximately $1.86 billion. A government-to-government deal for the acquisition of 24 MH-60 Seahawk helicopters has also been in the works for some time. India is keen to acquire the multi-role helicopters with Hellfire missiles, radars and torpedoes for the Indian Navy. However, as Donald Trump looks at a re-election in November 2020, a successful India visit could prove to be a win-win. Bureau Report, India Today.
There are 5 major areas which would be in focus when President Trump comes visiting. Let's hear it from the experts as to what they have to say on each of these subjects.
If there's one area of concern in this relationship that's been obvious since the Trump administration came in, it's been trade. But I want to put it in perspective, the fact that, all major partnerships have trade issues. If you have a lot of trade, you're going to have some problems. The fact remains that our Indo-US trade is actually increasing. So it's, despite all this hoo-ha about trade, you're still going to be hitting about $150 billion. So the difference is that Trump administration takes a very upfront view on trade, and they are extremely transactional in their approach. This is something which we have learned to accept, and we have to go around it.
I think it is fairly apparent that we have over the last few years developed a very strong strategic partnership with the US, even though we have problems on the trade side. But it would be fair to say that whether it is counterterrorism or it is our cooperation, for example, on the Indo-Pacific, two very important areas, defense cooperation. In all these areas, actually the India-US relationship has been strengthened significantly during the Trump administration.
President Trump is a politician, and I have no doubt he's going to use it in his political campaign. He's going to use it for the diaspora, he's going to use it to talk down his opponents, he's going to present himself as a great leader the world accepts. So will the Indian Prime Minister, because he too is a politician who responds to masses. And he's going to view this visit as an endorsement of many policies that have troubled him in his domestic debates in the past. So both of them are going to use this political moment. But you cannot underestimate the power of the relationship that has compelled an American president to fly down to the Indian capital during an election year.
We hear so often these days that China is the big issue that brings the US and India together. It's essentially the big strategic rationale for the relationship, the shared concern about China. But equally significant here is shared concern about terrorism in Pakistan. And I would actually argue that President Trump could have a really potentially big applause line when he's standing before tens of thousands of Indians in that huge cricket stadium in Gujarat. He could say something to the effect of, well, the U.S. is going to stand together with India in its efforts to combat terrorism in Pakistan. The question is, what can be done to build on U.S.-India counterterrorism cooperation?
During the President Trump's visit to India, there could be new deals announced. New defense deal could be announced, and in those deals there is a possibility of the announcement of the procurement of MS-60 Romeo helicopters, and these helicopters will be very much useful for our Indian Navy's requirements, and such requirements were there for the Indian Navy from 2017 onwards, and there was a effort and there was a demand from the Indian Navy side to have these kind of multi-role helicopters. And once these helicopters are acquired, then it will certainly enhance the capabilities of our Navy.
With that, it's time for a short break. When we return, there's lots more on The World Today. Any visit is also about optics. While President Trump will use the big show in Gujarat to garner votes of the Indian Americans back home, his visit with the First Lady to the Taj Mahal will hit the right notes with the conservatives in the US. A family man, a strong couple visiting the Monument of Love.
Taj Mahal visit is the cherry on the cake. Optics galore. The President and the First Lady will be at the Taj on Monday after a whirlwind trip to Ahmedabad, thronged by millions or a few lakhs to be precise. They will finally have some quiet time together. Preparations have been made and security is in place for the same.
For days now, the Agra administration has been sweating it out to prepare for US President Donald Trump and the First Lady's visit to the Taj Mahal. And as we show you images from inside the main courtyard of the Taj, the stones that have been broken and taken out to make sure that each and every nook and corner of the Taj sparkles when the US President arrives. I want my camera person Pradeep Gupta to show you how a drain has been opened here. In this forecourt, there should be water inside this particular sanctum, but right now it is dry because a fresh coat of paint will be put up, and this is right in front of the monument. And the ASI Archaeological Survey of India working day and night to make sure that all the stones of Taj sparkle when the US president arrives in Agra.
Trump's fascination for the Taj is known. He had named one of his properties Trump Taj Mahal Atlantic City. In the past too, many world leaders have been smitten by the beauty of the Taj. Late Princess Diana was photographed sitting alone outside Taj Mahal in 1992. 24 years later, her son Prince William and his wife Duchess Kate visited the Taj. Former US President Bill Clinton came calling with his daughter Chelsea in 2000. The Taj saw many dignitaries in 2018. Starting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his wife Sarah Netanyahu in January. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and wife Sophie Trudeau in February. And French President Emmanuel Macron along with First Lady Brigitte Macron in March. And now it's time for porters and floaters to say Wah Taj.
And before I end this show, here is a little something from my Trump corner. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most popular of them all?
There are untruths, half-truths, alternative realities, and then there is Donald Trump. US President Donald Trump likes to boast about his achievements, and that is no secret.
Very distracting.
But he often resorts to unfounded claims that reiterates one's belief about his capacity to speak the untruth.
Actually, I think they're trying to take it away.
From misrepresenting facts about his inauguration crowd being the biggest in the history of America, to claiming to be on the cover page of Time magazine more than anyone else in the world, Trump has mastered the art of alternative facts very well. And now Trump is back with an all-new, fresh claim. Donald Trump has recently claimed on Twitter that Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg has ranked him #1 and Prime Minister Modi #2 for popularity on social media. With a few over 26 million followers in Facebook, Trump claims to be ahead of PM Narendra Modi, who has over 44 million followers on it. Yes, you heard it right. Narendra Modi has almost double of the number of Trump's followers on Facebook. But don't you dare raise questions. Trump only wants you to believe him.
We are just getting started. Believe me. 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 Believe me.
Also, no such statement from Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg was found online. In fact, politicians fall way below sportsperson and celebrities in this popularity contest, with Shakira having crossed the mark of 100 million followers and footballer Ronaldo holding the title of the most followed person on social media with over 120 million followers. Well, maybe Donald Trump, you should practice a little more the art of telling the untruth. Bureau Report, India Today.
That's all on World Today this week. Thanks for watching.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.